feel that dating outside of my race or culture in any way affects my self-love and my root.
Whenever a police officer gets behind me and drives 60 miles an hour and won't move from behind me, it scares me.
You have nothing. You're so rich and wealthy that you can just buy everything and you're still not anything on the
When
inside.
is the right time for a woman to expect a man to put that money or spend that money on her?
Black men are so disconnected emotionally with women because they're taught not to connect with their feelings as a little boy.
Hello, and welcome to Black Coffee, where our topics are strong, our opinions are hot, and our objective is to wake your ass up. I'm Reginald Choice, and today I have with me
Melanie Howard.
Tiffany Simple.
Rolando Roy.
Candace DeMeza.
Now today we're going to be discussing social media. Is it a help or a hindrance? Candace, what do you think?
I think social media, just like every other aspect of technology, is good in that it's connecting us. You know, now across long distances, you can be as close as your fingertips to whoever. Information is so much easier to access, which is really good in this day and age because anything you need to find, you can instantly find it. So there's no excuse for any ignorance of sorts. But the downside of this is I was watching someone explaining about millennials, which most of us are, or on the top end, or Gen Xers, is that it's made this instantaneous sense of fulfillment, of having to always tailor your life, filter your life.
Right.
And I think what's happening is that people are more easily accessible, but intimacy is becoming less and less.
I totally agree.
Because now without the phone, we are unable to connect genuinely. And I think, especially for myself, I think we're losing this sense of authentic connection and community with such a heavy reliance on social media.
No doubt. I totally agree. I believe that social media nowadays, when you walk in a restaurant and you see two people sitting together, chances are somebody's either on Instagram or Facebook, and so you lose that connection and those moments, as you stated, of intimacy, of just communicating, period. So I agree that it's a hindrance and a help. The help side of it, of course, is connecting with those old friends or whatnot, but then you have those that are pretending a lot on social media.
When I think of social media, though, I think of it like for marketing purposes, you know? So when I came up in college, we were using social media strictly for marketing ourselves, marketing our stories, marketing our brand, and getting it out there, right? And then so it becomes this addictive thing where you have to check and make sure people are following you, who's looking at your posts, who's reposting you. And so it's become a thing where now it's kind of like an addictive drug, and it's only thing that verifies you and validates you. And so that is where the biggest downfall is, right? If you know how to break apart from your social media and not be so connected to it or the phone itself, you're good. But at the same time, people get so addicted and so wrapped up in the validation of it that it therefore hurts their ego and who they are.
I'm going to piggyback off what you just said about validation. I've found myself falling into this trap myself. I will post something and right after that, I'll start checking it. I'll check it 4 times in the next 30 minutes just to see who is viewing what I'm doing and if they like what I'm doing. And I get really excited when someone screenshots one of my Snapchats or shares one of my videos because to me, that makes me feel that whatever I'm posting out there, whatever I'm doing is important, right? And I think another thing that should be discussed is, like you were saying earlier, the millennials, the kids that are growing up now, if they're always on their smartphones, if they're always on their technology, when do they have the time to communicate, like you were saying, with actual people, to sit down and to learn how to read someone's expressions, to learn when someone is actually upset? Because there's a lot of things that you can learn from someone by just sitting in front of them. But have you ever tried to break up with someone, I'm just going to say that, or have an argument with someone via text message?
It happens all the
It's
time.
horrible.
I mean, that's
That's
probably the new
horrible.
way of breaking up because people they hide behind phones now. No one is willing to have a conversation.
Face to
It's-
face.
Yeah, especially because now I'm one of those type of people that I'm like, I need to hear the texture of your voice.
Right, I need to
I'm not
understand where you're
interested
coming
in reading your heart through a text message. I would rather hear the emotions.
And perceptions get messed up a lot. You know, I think that's what you were just saying. Perceptions get messed up because you with exclamation marks, with question marks, and grammar errors. You don't quite understand what someone's trying to say. They could sound like they're yelling, but completely be calm, and that is the most confusing thing. Because like, wait, you yelling at me now? Who are you yelling at?
Especially early in a relationship. You trying to learn each other.
Oh.
You don't know what's funny. Your humor can't really connect. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing I do like about social media is it kind of helps the new movement of like reality as entertainment. You know, we used to rely on music artists or documentaries or television to expose certain places. But now you can go to a Facebook page, you can go to an Instagram, and you can find out what they doing in St. Louis. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
You know, the
Very
stuff
true.
that doesn't hit documentaries comes right to your fingertips.
Right.
Very true.
I think the most frustrating aspect of social media for me is the age of instant celebrities. Like we are so overly focused with everybody being a celebrity. So let me be on Snapchat. Let me do a couple things. You like my face, and now I'm supporting flat tummy tea. You know, and now it affects casting. Like, how many
Right.
followers do you have? And I think the worst thing about it is it's disconnecting us from authenticity. Everything now has to be lived out loud. And I did hear about now even there's a dopamine. Dopamine is released every time you see that there's a like, which is creating this addiction. It's a chemical,
Right.
chemical fulfillment now. And I'm ashamed to admit it. I have a hard time sometimes putting my phone down when I'm with someone in person, and then having a moment where you're living in present with the people who are in front of you,
Right.
It's
versus
realistic.
constantly living
Right.
through a screen.
Well, I think that's why so many millennials have terrible soft skills because they're not used to communicating. They're not used to having conversations with people. They're not used to eye contact with people because they're so used to being focused on their phones.
Right. But this also can lead to like learning disabilities. I'm just going to put it right there because learning disabilities are part of mental illnesses, which there are people who can't pick up on facial expressions, who can't understand. So now you don't even know how to communicate in a way that is adjacent to how you are actually feeling in that moment because you haven't learned those social skills, which are vital to your life growing up.
True.
And then the cyberbullying part of social media too. I don't know. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, and I know this is hard, but are there more hindrances than helps to social media? Because the networking part of it is amazing, but when I see people sharing these fights and this bullying stuff, it's just
Yeah.
disgusting to me.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. So.
Absolutely.
Every
So,
time
I do apologize, but I wanted to bring it around to a solution. What steps can we take to make sure that we do not become addicted to our cell phones, to our technology? One thing that I would suggest is just setting an actual time of day that I am going to be on my social media for this amount of time during the day. I will only do it for 30 minutes at a time. I will log in, log out, right? But what other things could we do to combat this as
Not-
an addiction?
It's difficult if you're an entrepreneur, and especially if you're some kind of an artist, and
Very true.
you're building a brand, and social media is the aspect for you to do that. So I think it's hard to limit because that's your business, but maybe setting some times when you do turn it off definitively, where
Right.
you're with people in person, turning it off, and then, having to use it because it is a tool.
What is social media to you? I think that would probably need to be defined too. Like, what is it to you?
As in, what are you using it for? Why
Right,
do you need it?
right. Right.
Yeah, if you let it invade your personal space and you don't have a personal life without it, it gets too powerful.
You're in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
It gets too powerful.
You're in trouble.
I would have to agree.
I really do appreciate your ideas on this topic. Thank you for joining us with Black Coffee. Have a great day.